All right. I think we're going to start today off with the draft. But I'd like to play some constructed at some point today as well. See what we do. I kind of want to mess around with that Jeskai list again. Hello, Ho-Fi. All right. Pick one. Pack one. What do we got? Crackling Drake. Ooh. Also a Guildmage's Forum. An Electromancer. Best card in the pack's Crackling Drake. It's a pretty big step down in power after that. Guildmage's Forum is fun, but not particularly great. It's okay. So you get a little bit more value out of creatures than you would otherwise. Let's grab the Crackling Drake. Pick two. Pretty clear Midnight Reaper. There's no other card anywhere near comparable power level. In fact, this pack is extremely weak. The next card of power level in it is Leapfrog or Fire Urchin, which are not very good. Take the Reaper. Totally speculative. Good morning, Elder Thulu. We have our print run of Creeping Chill, Guildmage, and Spout Ward Minotaur. Never not together. Strongest card in the pack is the Guildmage.
Our modest fellowship expands. Praise the sub.
Ooh, I wonder why that double notified me. Welcome, Linux. Why did that double notify me? Bit worrisome. Don't know. We're going to find out at some point, I guess. Thank you for the sub. Welcome to the channel. All right. This is a Guildmage for me. It's stronger than the Smelt Ward Minotaur. It's already in colors we're interested in. There's no good black card in this this pack particularly. I'd like the Electromancer, but it's not as good as the Guildmage. I'll take the Guildmage and be pretty happy about it. This pack, there's an Izzet Guildgate, a Fresh-Faced Recruit. Both fine. Monuments, totally fine as well. Did I see the question you sent me in Discord? Nope. And then the Guildmage is pretty decent too. We're not very close to a House Guildmage, but we could be. Is it splashing black's a little bit hard to do? Tends not to have the mana base for it. The Izzet mana base is pretty demanding. The Guildmage is the strongest card here, but it's pretty far from Crackling Drake and League Guildmage. It's really just trying to take advantage of the Reaper. Morning, Masterman. Where did you send it to me in Discord? If you just shoot it to me again, I'd appreciate that. Alright, so what are we doing with this pack? I'm tempted to pick the Monument. The Guildgate's good, but the Monument's pretty strong too. Represents a big dude. We're gonna have a lot of multicolored as is it too if we go that route. I don't think the House Guildmage is really where we want to be. We're not gonna pick up Surveil Synergy, so this is basically like 2 mana doesn't untap on a 2/2. I'd love to play the Reaper, but just not so sure about it. You can ask it here in chat too if you want, Massman. It's just easier that way. Let's grab the Monument. Dimir Informant, Radical Idea, Fresh-Faced Recruit, Dimir Guildgate, Burglar Rat. I don't like the Informant that much in Izzet, but the good thing about the Informant is she's kind of just a wall. It's an argument for Radical Idea. It's cheap stuff. It's just a little bit early to be picking something like Radical Idea. Fresh-Faced Recruit is fine as a two drop. Fuel our Monument too, but it's not exciting. We don't know yet for the aggressive version of Izzet or the more control-y version. We're not going to really know until we start getting a spell count for our removal spells. This is very not aggressive. This would be the aggressive pick. This is good in both, kinda, but not great. We often will get another one anyways. I think I'll take the Dimir Informant. Sometimes we can not have good threes, and sometimes we just need a body on the ground. Alright, I'll have a look. All right, I'll think about that in a minute, Messman. All right, another radical idea just wheeled to us. That's kind of nice. Gravitic Punch, radical idea. The only is it cards is Gateway Plaza for mana fixing, but I don't think I want that if possible. I'll take the radical idea. We just passed one. I'm glad to get one. There's a Piston Fist Cyclops here in a Notion Rain. We're not technically splashing black yet, but this would be one of the cards I consider doing it for. Piston Fist is great for our game plan, though. Offensive or defensive. Great little creature. Wow. Another Piston Fist or Sinister Sabotage. I like Piston Fists. A bunch of them are generally just fine, but I really like Counterspell too. Counter Magic is quite good in general, and it's quite good in limited as well. I'm going to take the Sinister Sabotage. Maybe a little bit tricky to cast on 3, but we'll see. There's a Glaive of the Guild pack, an Invert Invent, and a Wall of Mist. I'm going to speculate on our first Invert Invent. It's a very greedy card, but we'll see. Another Glaive, and a Barging Sergeant. Take the Barging Sergeant. There's a Wall of Mist. Take that. Guildgate versus Dazzling Lights. If I get some more payoff cards, Dazzling Lights becomes a little bit better. Things like the Murmuring Mystic or some Surveil synergies. It's okay with Crackling Drake, but it's not super exciting. I think I'm going to take the Guildgate. Radical Idea wheeled or a Guildgate. I'll take the second Radical Idea. Don't think I want to play black with this. I guess there's still cards I could pick up that would make me want to play black. Our deck would survive being... I mean, our strongest cards, unfortunately, are the red-blue ones. But we could survive being Dimir right now and take care of that Reaper. Let's take the Guildgate to be safe. I don't really want a second Radical Idea. Yeah, I saw it, Messman. Alright, I'll take that. Take the Gravitic Punch. Take the Shade. Alright. Well, that's a decision. We got a Disinformation campaign in colors we're probably not. We have a Piston Fist Cyclops in the colors we probably are. Disdainful Stroke's okay, and then we've got an Experimental Frenzy. Morning to death. We have 2 sources of Surveil right now. Is Grixis too greedy? Oh, not really. The Experimental Frenzy has very little synergy with a deck like this. We don't have a bunch of cheap cards. We're not super high tempo. We're not going to just vomit out our hand. I don't know if you can reroll quests before you start finish another quest. You can, yeah, you can reroll quests. You just lose the progress on them. I think I want to try the Disinformation campaign here. All right, let's take the Disinformation campaign. Be more Grixis. There's an Electromancer, another Piston Fist. This is the 4th we've had an option to pick up. A Dimir Guildgate and a Discovery Dispersal. Electromancer would be pretty good for us. Discovery Dispersals tends to be pretty good for us too. Both are quite nice. This card is good, but not amazing in limited. Second part's rarely used. First part is decent. I think I'd rather take my first Electromancer. I'm going to take the Direct Current as early removal. The other options here are the Caster Sphere or the Guild Mage. Direct Current's right where we want to be. We should start attaching some priority to Guild Gates if we're going to be running a Midnight Reaper and a Disinformation campaign. Sonic Assault's fine. Blood Operative's a little too black for this deck. Bojack Bodyguard is not bad, although it's not a lot of targets in our deck to activate that. Doesn't really look like what we're doing with our deck. I'm going to take the Dimir Guildgate. Darkblade Agent, a little bit greedy for our mana base. Unexplained Disappearance, Devious Cover-Up, and Wishcoin Crab. Creature count is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Quite low on creatures. We're only halfway through pack 2. Crab would be fine for this deck. Devious Cover Up would be fine for this deck. I think I'd like to take the Devious Cover Up. Unexplained Disappearance is alright for this deck too. Let's take the Devious Cover Up. Splashing Bats or Dazzling Lights. Take the Dazzling Lights. Goblin Banneret versus Command the Storm versus Dimir Guildgate. I think, as much as I don't like the card, we don't have a lot of removal right now. I think I'm going to pick up a Command the Storm. Normally I'd be all over that Banneret, but I think we need the Command the Storm for this deck. To Boros Guildgate, a Vapors in the sideboard, and a Locksmith. I'll take the Locksmith just for a 2-drop. I hope I don't have to play it. I'll take the Disdainful Stroke. I'll probably sideboard it. Enhanced Surveillance, Veiled Shade, and Never Happened. Yeah, I don't really want these cards. I'll take the Never Happened for the sideboard. Is there a way in which I'd play the Garrison Sergeant? Hopefully not. I'll take the Silent Dart. Sonic Assault Wheel, that's nice. Maximize velocity in our color. Take the Bats. And the Moonmark Painter. Ooh, this is another print run. Fine Broker, Murmuring Mystic, and Indrik. This is problematic because it means like we can never ever play Fine Broker because Indrik and Murmuring Mystic are both better. There's a Command the Storm and a Dimir Guildgate in here. I'd be happy with either of those. Unmoored Ego is not really playable. It's sideboardable in draft, but not great. Murmuring Mystic's very good. Take that. Goblin Warboss, Legion Warboss, right where we want to be. I wouldn't mind this Static Field, but this card is incredible. It's incredible everywhere. So I'm just going to take that and be happy about it. Thoughtbound Phantasm, Rock Charger. We actually have a couple of sources of Surveil. This card is less bad than it normally is in an Izzet deck. We don't have a ton of sources of Surveil. I mean, something like 1, 2, 3. We have 2 payoffs for Surveil on the Disinformation campaign. I think it's still the best card in the pack for us. There's nothing else that really catches my fancy here. Like, do you just cover up or Disdainful Stroke? I don't really want to run 2 of these. I could if the sideboard is a particularly controlly deck. I like picking this up. Maybe we can find some other stuff that will help synergize with it. Yeah, I answered you yesterday, random, in the randoms in chat. I saw the post you made there. Yep, that was Joe on stream. All right, is it Guildgate, Command the Storm, or Leapfrog? What's our playable count at right now? 19. So we're getting close. The Guildgates are good in a deck like this. I already have a fair number of 3s. 1, 2, 3 drops. Leapfrog's kind of where we want to be, but we don't have a ton of repeatable spells. We've got that Radical Idea and the Sonic Assault for getting in for damage. I think I might be on the more controlly Command the Storm pick here. Let's grab that. Same exact decision again. I don't really want a 3rd Command the Storm. They're a bit clunky. Don't much care for Muse Drake. I will need some Guildgates. Do I just take it anyways? It's just this is very slow removal. Missing some 2 drops. Wall of Mist is probably playable in this deck, main deck. Got some 3s. Really, I don't think I want to run 3 Command the Storms. Like, I might, I guess. Yep, I'll get to your question at some point on Discord, Messman. Cheers, have a good day, man. Alright, Command the Storm. Probably over the Guildgate. It's a little bit close. Deck's looking a little weak. I feel like some more spells that do something I'll probably take. Alright, Command the Storm. Is it Locket versus Darkblade Agent? We don't really have enough black sources to play Darkblade Agent. These cards are not cards I particularly want in the deck, but if we're low on playables, I will play an Is It Locket. Lectromancer this late is great, although the Dimir Guildgate would be nice. We need 2s anyways. This is a good one for us. Electromancer again, exact same reasoning a second ago. I'd love the Guildgate, but 2 Electromancers wheeled. We gotta be pretty happy about that. Maximize altitude versus Radical Idea. We have one Radical Idea. I generally prefer Radical Idea to maximize altitude, especially with a low creature count deck like this. Card count is 28 minus 3. We're at 25 playable, so we will be trimming here. Don't think I'm running maximize altitude in a deck like this. I think I would take the Radical Idea. Electrostatic Field or Dimir Guildgate. This is an improvement over our Wall of Mist for almost all intents and purposes. I wouldn't mind a Guild Summit, but I don't think there's enough Guildgates in our deck to use it. I don't want another Barging Sergeant. I'm thinking of cutting that in the first place, and a Dimir Guildgate would let me fix this deck. So what are we likely cutting? We're probably... I mean, Phantasm's okay. We'll just trade off early. That's generally fine. Probably not playing Wall of Mist if we play that. This is 1, 2, 3. This is... Oh, I thought it gave me the numbers down here. This is 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Probably don't want to play that, so call it 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. We need 23 playables. Could play the Midnight Reaper in the Disinformation campaign. They're both powerful cards. I don't have a ton of creatures. We're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 creatures right now, which is enough for Izzet. But it makes Reaper a little bit less strong to be in a deck with so few creatures. And I don't know if this information campaign is strong enough with only 3 sources of Surveil. We have an Invert and Vent. Do we have sorceries that we could pull? Yeah, only Direct Current though. So not a lot of sorceries to target, so it's unlikely that card enters our deck. Could main deck a Silent Dart or just a Disdainful Stroke if we wanted to. I think with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 spells, I think I want the field. Even if it means I don't end up playing black. It's a pretty close pick. I'm going to take the field. None of these cards are playable and there's no uncommons, so it doesn't matter. Can't even activate those. I guess it's Mesmerist sideboard. Selective Snare sideboard is just fine. Veiled Shade sideboard, although it's never going to be good for us. Maniacal Rage. We're never going to play Maniacal Rage in this deck. No. Stick the uncommon. And the uncommon. Alright. Deck's missing kind of a win condition. Our win conditions right now are the Crackling Drake and the Murmuring Mystic. And neither of those are particularly strong. Card count's at 44. We need 4 out from these. Midnight Reaper, Izzet Locket, Wall of Mist. And Disinformation Campaign are 4. I don't think we have quite enough mana fixing or impetus to play these cards. Particularly the Midnight Reaper and the Disinformation Campaign are both great cards, but the deck's fine without it. I don't love the Barging Sergeant in there. Wait. I didn't say Murmuring Mystic wasn't strong. It's not at all what I said. Right. Do I want to play Barging Sergeant in this deck? It represents damage. A little less control. We could main deck the Disdainful Stroke if we wanted to instead, or the Mesmerist for another 2. We have 5 2s though. That's generally pretty good. Wish we'd ended up with another Izzet Guildgate. Gravitic Punch sometimes will do some damage for us too if we wanted to do that. And a Silent Dart is playable if I'm desperate for cheap removal. The only cheap removal we have is the Direct Current. Yeah, Monument will sometimes grow, not very often. I mean, we have enough. It's not that we don't have too many. We have a fair number of multicolored cards. It isn't that. It's just that the way Monument works, it tends to be after all your multicolored cards. Like, all right, our early game is Goblin Electromancer, followed by Cyclops, followed by Monument. Oh, I feel bad. So at 43, we need 3 of these out. Creature count's pretty low right now, 13. Maybe we keep Disdainful Stroke, have a lot of counter magic available to us then between Disdainful Stroke, Sinister Sabotage, and Devious Cover-Up. Or maybe this comes in as a sideboard, so when we're running into like Boros, we don't have this main deck. Punch maybe the same thing as a finisher. Let's keep the Sergeant for now. It's just a creature. Okay. Alright, so a couple significant sideboard things here. The Mesmerist can come in, the Disdainful Stroke, the Wall of Mist, the Selective Snare, all fairly good sideboard cards. There's a reason to run them. Same with Gravitic Punch, same with Locksmith, although lesser so. Same with Silent Dart. I'm kind of bummed we're not taking advantage of our Reaper or Disinformation Campaign, but they were pretty cheap picks for us. Disinformation Campaign wasn't that cheap. I don't remember what we picked it over, but it was pretty early. I think this was pick 1, pack 2, right? Alright, mana base 887, or 8899, I guess is what that mana base is. We don't have so much jumpstart that we can smooth nicely. We only have 4 pieces of jumpstart. So there will be some information, there will be some issue with flooding. Our curve is not particularly high. I don't know if I can go down to 16 in a deck like this though. Maybe? I'd like to hit 4s on 4, so I probably don't want to do that. I'm a bit worried about winning here. Again, our win conditions seem a little bit low. Alright, we're going to call this deck Fear the Reaper. To play these cards, like if I were to splash a Midnight Reaper in a Disinformation Campaign, I'm probably going to need at least 3 black sources. And with 4 of our 2-drops being both blue-red sources and only 2 Guild Gates, I don't really want to run 2 Swamps in a deck like this. It's going to destabilize the mana base pretty hard. If I don't play Reaper and Disinformation Campaign, or rather if I'm okay playing them on like turn 5 or something, which is a little bit late for those cards, still not great for us. We'll see. Alright, let's get our games. Yeah, we don't have a lot of Surveil synergy, so it's hard to reactivate Disinformation Campaign. We only have 3 sources of Surveil. Our Thoughtbound Phantasm is a little bit whatever, too. Fear the Reaper even when not playing him? Damn straight. He's a threat that our opponent doesn't actually know about. Because I fear to play the Reaper.